How are you doing today? Richard Bryce here. In this video, I'm going to help you to improve your forehand by explaining what the 5 most common mistakes are so you know what to avoid. And I'm also going to throw in a bonus mistake that players make, and this one's really important, so make sure you stick around to the end. I hope you find the video helpful. If you do, it'd be great if you give me a thumbs up. Any questions, comments, leave them in the comments section. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love you to do that as well. So mistake number 1 is not preparing early enough, not getting your racket back behind that ball soon enough. If you don't prepare early enough, the chances of you executing your shot correctly go down dramatically from there on out, and everything else gets way more challenging. So it is absolutely essential that you prepare early, get your racket ready in position. Depending what style of stroke, there's going to be a unit turn, there's going to be a couple of things going on, but you've got to understand how important that is. So if you are the sort of person that the ball is coming over, it's bouncing on the service line and then the racket starts to go back, this is something that you've got to fix, or it's really going to prevent you from developing your forehand. Now, I've made another video that goes into a lot of detail about how to do that, so I'll place the link for it down in the description so you can check that one out. Mistake number 2 is not setting up in the right position. This could mean not moving back far enough or quickly enough to allow the ball to drop so you can get a more ideal contact point. But a lot of the time here, we're talking about getting too close to the ball. If you're too close to the ball, you can't swing efficiently. You can't use body rotation and efficient biomechanics to generate racket head speed. We need to be further away from the ball so that we can use the body rotation and turn that into the forwards movement and create the racket head speed. So mistake number 2, getting too close to the ball. I've created a video that goes into a lot of detail about how to stop getting jammed. So I'll place a link down in the description so you can check that one out too. Mistake number 3 is hitting the ball late. Unless you meet that ball out in front, unless you get that contact point in front of your body, it doesn't matter whether you're hitting an open stance, a neutral stance, whatever type of shot you're hitting, you need to get that contact point out in front in order to be able to efficiently generate power and spin, and very importantly, control. Because it's quite easy to generate power. You can just slap the ball, but unfortunately, that one hit the back fence. We want to get power and spin and control. We've got to get the ball landing in. And to do that, we have to meet the ball out in front. It's the only thing that allows us to efficiently use the biomechanics and the full kinetic chain of driving through the hip, then the torso, then the arm, then the racket coming through. And then we've got this combination of movements creating that forwards momentum for the power. And then we've got the internal rotation creating the top spin. And the combination of those allows us to get the control with it, and to make that happen, you have to meet the ball out in front. I've made another video that goes into a lot of detail about it, so I'm going to place a link down in the description so you can check that one out. Now let's move on to mistake number 4. Mistake number 4, the classic, lifting your head, losing focus, lifting your head, not watching the ball onto the strings. If you want to hit the ball consistently, you have to develop the ability to watch that ball onto the strings, and you want to keep your head lined up with that contact point and hold it there for a second or a moment afterwards, like someone like Federer or Daniil Medvedev does, or a lot of the best players in the world. This is simply the way our body functions. In order for us to do things accurately, we have to look at the thing we're doing. So if I'm looking at that contact point, it dramatically increases my likelihood that I'm going to execute the shot in the way that I want. If I lift my head, sometimes it's still possible to make the shot. Again, you see someone like Dominic Thiem or Andy Murray hitting incredible forehands lifting their head, but they are superhumans with ridiculous visual skills. That is not what we should be aiming for. If you are lifting your head on your shot, it's one of the biggest mistakes there is. So you've really got to focus on stopping that from happening. Now, to help you with that, I've created another video, which I will place a link for in the description. Mistake number 5 is going for the wrong shot. And this can happen in a couple of different ways. It might be a case of you just aim for too small a target. So I'm trying to hit it down the line, I'm trying to be too precise, and it goes out. And what I should have done instead is I should have just given myself a bigger margin, aimed a little bit further inside, and that one actually went a little bit closer to the line than I wanted. I was aiming a fraction more this way, but because I got it a little bit wrong, it still went in. So it could be that you're just going too close to the lines, or it could be you're just going for completely the wrong shot altogether. You know, if you aren't able to consistently hit a shot, so say you get that short ball, you've created a good situation in the rally, you get the high ball, you see the pros, they come in and they crush that, but when you do it, it hits the back fence. Trying to do it over and over again is not a good strategy. Instead, you've just got to calm yourself, recognize what's going on in that situation, take a bit of pace off it, come to the net or do whatever you need to do, play it a little bit more safely. Now, it doesn't just happen on these short balls. It could be in a lot of different scenarios. It could be something where you've been pushed back and you're out wide and you think you're Rafael Nadal and you're going to jump in, you're going to do some crazy looping topspin down the line, when really the sensible plan was just to lift the ball back up and go cross court. But mistake number 5 is just going for way too much or the wrong shot. And that brings us on to the bonus mistake, mistake number 6, and that is tinkering with things and trying to change and tweak and adjust your technique when that's not what you should be doing, because that wasn't the problem in the first place. And this is something that I see so much. Look, we've just covered the 5 most common mistakes. If we want to start from the 5th one, if you choose the wrong shot and you're just going for ridiculous shots, that's the problem. You've got to be a little bit more sensible. But then if we go through the other ones, if you don't prepare early enough, the chances of you executing the shot well and developing your forehand into a real high-level forehand, it's very tricky. If you get too close to the ball, it literally does not allow optimal biomechanics. It's going to cause you to miss more shots. It's going to prevent you from developing your forehand. If you don't get the timing piece, if you're always hitting the ball late, again, you cannot efficiently generate power and spin and control, because we need that early contact point to make those things happen. And then, of course, if you're lifting your head, you're taking your eye off the ball, you're not watching the ball all the way in, that's what's going to cause you to make more errors than anything else. So those are the things that you need to address. And a lot of players, they kind of tweak and change and they're adjusting, minute little things about this and all this stuff that isn't what you need to fix. So I've actually made a video that's going to help you out on this as well. It breaks down how to learn and improve your forehand technique. I'll place it down in the description. But something I want to talk about quickly before I end this video is that those last 4 mistakes, so first 4 mistakes, the shot selection is a little bit different, but the first 4 mistakes, there's something that really creates problems for all of those things. And that's how well your visual system is functioning. One of the big reasons that people don't prepare early is because they can't process, they can't judge where the ball's going quickly enough, so they wait until it's on them before they react. One of the big reasons that people get too close to the ball is exactly the same. They can't judge where the ball is accurately enough, so as they're moving into the position, they don't get it right. One of the main reasons that people don't have the level of timing they want is because their visual system doesn't work well enough. And again, one of the big reasons that people aren't able to watch the ball onto their strings and keep their head still is because they've got issues with ball tracking and stuff like that. It's just the reality of the situation. The good news, though, is that you can actually train your visual system and address those problems. So what I've done is I've created a masterclass that's going to teach you about it. So it's going to explain a lot about how the visual system works, about vision in tennis, talk about some of these errors and where things fits in. And it's also going to show you 3 really cool assessments to help you figure out if in fact your visual system is part of what's going on and creating your problems on court and causing some of these mistakes. So if you really want to develop your game, might be a fun one for you to check out. I'll leave a link in the description for that. So there's a bunch of links in the description, but hopefully this gives you lots of stuff to work on. And I'll also place a link up there in the corner to allow you to get hold of it. Okay, leave me your thoughts in the comment section. Do you make one of these mistakes? Is this one of the things, or are these the things that are holding you back and causing you problems on your forehand? If they are, let me know which one. I always like to hear from you, and I'll see you next time.